Man, the long-awaited boss rush is finally here, and I've made a couple of mistakes. Namely, I thought like you could do 3 parties and then like get out of this fine, but no, you have to do two. And that's kind of a bummer because I recorded that one, and then a friend of mine said, you sure about that?" And so here we are again. But I mean, it's fine. I feel like I did better this time around than with the 3 party group anyway, so it's not too bad. I'm still a little salty, but I mean, I'll get over it. In any case, so let me explain my team. So you got Cloud, Rude, and Exed. Rude is self-explanatory. You slot him anywhere, he's going to be your best healer in battery. It's just that's just kind of how it is. He does a lot of damage. He can back it up with the battery, and he heals everyone. That's box standard. X-Death, he works great in the first and second waves. Maybe not so much in the third wave. It's not that you can't bring him there. You can. It's just I feel like if you do, his main gimmick, which is the whole debuffing thing and HP sap and the other debuffs alongside that, probably won't get used a whole lot depending on your team setup. Like unless you have someone like Edward who can put him to sleep, or someone like Eldernosh who's like, hey, if you look at me, you don't get a turn, then his HP sap stuff can go on because the enemy won't do anything. But otherwise, the enemy through like pretty much regular intervals will be, essentially cleansing themselves of all debuffs. So you're kind of out of luck with that. But he can still be used there, but I personally wouldn't recommend it. So you can slot him in your first team for the first and second wave. Unless you're trying to do a 3-team thing, if you don't want the full rewards, then you can probably slot him in on a second team. But as far as just 2 parties, slot him in on the first party. And as for Cloud, he's there for the second wave. The second wave's LUFENIA orb has to do with the whole, they gotta be launched in order for the orb to increase at all. That's why he's there. Otherwise, it's just, it kind of goes smoothly pretty much. Just gotta make sure you don't die. The first wave it wasn't so annoying with this team, but I can imagine how bad it is to an extent if you didn't have like people that could basically make their damage nothing, because otherwise they'll just be smacking you in the face 24/7. But I have X-Death who like makes them hit like garbage, and sacks them away and slowly whittles at their health over time. So it's a nice little thing. Another little tip I will give is don't be stingy with your abilities. Like at this point, since you're running 2 different parties or however many you decide to do, then there's no reason to save your skills. Just use them all. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, I think in this video, I ended up like HP attacking once. Maybe it was just rude, which I really shouldn't have done because there's not really any worry. And plus, if you just use a skill, like let's say your EX isn't up for whatever particular character, and you decide to use a skill, well, guess what? Now that skill you used to end the boss now adds up to the EX, so you can get ready for the next wave. So just don't be stingy with your stuff. It's fine. You're not gonna run out of skills, I guess, unless you're not spacing it out as much. But at that point, I don't know what to tell you. Now here I use my summon like while they're almost dead, mainly just so the timer can stop and then I don't have to like use up a bunch of those, timer points or whatever, just trying to whittle away at their health. Just go ahead and get this out the way so I don't have to waste any time, because I'm really like, because my next team for this would not have been able to do the second wave normally unless like I didn't stall and I didn't have the cloud call skill. So for me, I had to go ahead and just use the summon, because I mean I'm gonna use it anyway, because it's best to just go ahead and use it. Why not? You're gonna have two teams for this, so I mean, as long as you get enough yeah, see, there we go, the HP attack I was talking about. But as long as you do like a good chunk of damage, then you should be completely fine. But you don't have to use it in the first wave if, unlike me, you decide to actually bring a second team with a launcher, because there's no harm in doing so. I didn't, only just because I just wanted to use Zonde and the other people that were there. Now, this wave, it really sucks. Only because they're annoying, like, the enemies themselves. I don't think I had too much difficulty with it, considering, like, X-Death, but the sheer fact that these guys exist, and there's two of them, is sort of the problem. It's, they hit so many times, and that unless maybe you have some sort of mitigation or some debuff that's like it makes them hit 1s or 20s or whatever, makes them hit very low, stuff like that, tanks, whatever, they're so annoying. They do like 30 different attacks and then just dump it all at once on everybody, and it just sort of sucks. That's why I'm glad I have like one of the best healers out there on the team, because otherwise these would hurt a ton if I didn't have like someone like X-Death to like debuff them. But then they go ahead and miss like that, so I don't know. You do so much preparation only to then just I guess they're blind. Yeah, see, again, I don't know how to explain that. Now, this is the perfect time to burst, just simply due to the fact that look, it's down to the wire, 4 turns left. I want to go ahead and have my next party, like, having as clean of a run as possible without having to worry too much about that LUFENIA orb, because it's kind of a doozy if you don't have a launcher except for a call ability. So just go ahead and wipe them out as best you can. At least put them in the red. That's about all I gotta say about that. Unless, again, you were smarter and bought a launcher for the second team so you didn't have to stress so much about this. But, I mean, whatever, you know? So at this point, it's basically over for this team. Just trying to get the last little burst of damage in, and then, you know, it's passing the baton to the second party. And man, is it... I should have picked a better second party. It worked, but I should have picked a better party. Now let me start off by saying I do not recommend Edward here at all. I mean, again, it worked, but there are a lot of moments in which he does nothing, and I don't mean like he literally does nothing. I mean he has Hide and Lullaby. Hide takes up a turn of the counter. It does not care that it's a free insta turn. No, it says, oh, you used an ability, so it counts. And Lullaby does no damage. So, I mean, it like, don't get me wrong, those abilities are really helpful, but in a boss rush in which you only have a limited amount of time to use said team, and for this one in particular, you can only have 2 parties, it's not really good. Despite the fact that, you see right there, but despite that fact, he was very pivotal to this team, and well, it's kind of the reason why I put him on there to begin with, even though it's still not so good. In any case, let me explain this team. So, Xande's here, of course, to make sure everyone hits a lot harder, and he's also here for his stupid damage that he can do. You, of course, can put UV in here, and he'll probably be better for it, but Xande helps everyone, and I want to use him. I bothered getting him in my team. Edward's here for the constant battery and pretty good damage, and his support like buffs. And then Furion for Furion things. He's there for the off-turn damage occasionally, healing, and battery. Now the problem with Furion though too is that he might have been better in the first party, only just because, like I said with X-Death, the boss usually regularly gets rid of debuffs and stuff. However, this is exactly why Edward is here, because he'll just put the boss to sleep. So now he'll be able to keep his consistent off-turn damage, which is what I needed, because as you see, this match kind of becomes a little bit down to the wire, let's say. Now with this, I might have been able to maybe stall it out a little bit more for later. I mean, I guess considering the end results, I guess it was a better call to use it here, just to stall and whatnot, but I don't know. I think I might rerun it with like the exact same team just for the sake of curiosity. Maybe not, because it was kind of, it got kind of stressful with this team at the end, so I was like, oh god. But, yeah. know, this is immediately where I started to get worried because it's Edward and then Zonde, and I wasn't sure if Zonde was actually going to be able to kill him, but thankfully he got his EX up. Even then, I still wasn't sure. But, shoot, I underestimated him. That man killed the mess out of him. So, I'm so happy, and that's a perfect way to end it, too. I certainly recommend a better team than the one I did, at least for the second team. But I mean, it worked. So, you know, a win's a win. In any case, have a good night and stay safe out there, alright?